told you I was going to pick this up from last week. If you didn't see last week, it's why people are hissed off about religion and politics. I don't want to call it part 2, but I'm going into the second section of it. No, that's not bad. Don't go away. Hang with me. Hello, I'm Ed Montgomery. Welcome to Vintage Wisdom. I am your host and the spiritual director and leader of Abundant Life Center in Katy, Texas, right outside of Houston, Texas, Abundant Life Cathedral, Houston. We've been doing this for over 40 years. Welcome to where you are. Vintage Wisdom is about new, fresh wine. That's right, the wine that Jesus talks about. He says that if you put new wine in old wine skins, it'll burst them because old wine skins are skins. They stretch. It's not about bottles. But if you put new wine in new bottles, it means a new structure, a different way of thinking about something. It says these things can grow together. And what we're about is a new way of thinking, not the old religious way of thinking. Throw it out. Cast that demon out. Get it out of your head, because that's what's causing us problems. Last week we talked about it. We talked about Genesis chapter 2, chapter 1 and verse 2. And I'm going to get there in a little bit and talk a little bit about some religion and politics maybe. But one thing I want you to remember, and that is to hit that like button. The algorithms, hit them. And you say, well, I don't know whether or not I like it. Come on, you hit the like buttons on everybody else. You hit the like button on Kat and Shannon. They were good too, by the way. We talked about it a little bit last week, so you can go back and listen to some of the stuff we talked about, last 2 things. But hit that like button, hit that, make sure you let me know where you're watching from, the city you're watching from, the state, the country you're watching from, and then share this with somebody. You got some friends, share it with them. This is not your mama, your grandmama's, your great-grandmama's religion. I promise you, this is not about this. We're taking it from a different way. Actually, I am untwisting Christianity. Christianity has become so twisted and wound up. We're taking the time to untwist some things. We're untwisting faith. We're untwisting belief. We're untwisting salvation. What are all these things? I deal with all these things in some of the past vintage wisdoms that I've dealt with. However, I'm going to continue to deal with a little bit of them every week. So even though the subject might not be what it's, I'll promise you I'm going to be untwisting something. Last week I started untwisting Genesis chapter 1. Verse 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. But verse 2 says the earth was without form and without void. Isn't it interesting what religion has taught us? That the earth is about 6,000 years old? Yeah. Well, if the earth is 6,000 years old, that's what we were taught. European Christianity brought over to the fact that, it's only 6,000 years old. Then where did those dinosaur bones come from? They said, well, we're not sure, but maybe they were here before. What? Come on, guys. I don't have a problem dealing with evolution and evolving things. Quite possibly that there were beings or behemoths long before mankind got here. It says the earth was without form. In other words, there was no shape, there was no form, there was no continuity to the earth. The earth was the earth, but it was without form. Just like we are who we are, but we are constantly being shaped and being formed into who we can potentially be. That's what the God life is. It is following Jesus Christ to learn all that you can possibly be spiritually. Okay. Okay, let me say that again. Who you are spiritually, who you are out of the realm of what we call God, the planets, the universe, all of whatever, however you're going to say this. There is something about you that carries a perfection. The word perfection in the Bible does not mean sinlessly perfect. Doesn't mean that you don't chase women or women chase you, or that you don't, smoke cigars or something. Yeah, that's not what perfect in the Bible means. Perfect means to be complete, to have a wholeness about yourself, to have a completeness about yourself, to have a fullness about yourself, a richness of body. We call this vintage wisdom. And so I tell people, come on, get a little closer, take a seat right here, because we're about to drink some fresh new wine, wine for the mind, a new type of vintage. Because we understand something about the mind. When the mind expands, you can begin to understand a new expansion of God. Yeah. When your mind expands, your God expands. Well, what do you mean? God is already expanding. Yeah, but God is not expanded to you. When our minds are not expanded, when they're not shaped, when we stay in the same old cubbyhole, crowded back corner of religion, saying, well, if it was good for my own mother, it's good enough for me. Well, what was good for mama is not good enough for you, because you read more things. You've seen more things. You've experienced more things. The world has shown you more things. And when you see more things, it's beginning to shape you and form you different. And your earth, your religion becomes different. You see things in a different way. There's some things that, that's sin, but no longer is to you. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You trying to change the definition of sin, Reverend? No, that's not what none of this is. No. See, that's what hisses people off about religion and ultimately politics. It's because they're not catching what's being said here. As you begin to expand yourself, there was a time that going to movies was considered to be sinful in some church circles. That's right. And what they would tell you is the reason you don't go to movies is because you're sitting in the seat of the scornful. And the Bible says in Psalm 1, do not sit in the seat of the scornful. So if you go into a movie, you're going to where the scornful are. Well, that's not what that means. But look it up. We've expanded. Not only do you not go to movies, but the seat of the scornful that you're sitting in is in your theater seats in your home. So the definition has changed. We've got to look at things differently. So, who you are, your earth, you are that earth, and you are that earth that is beginning to form and beginning to shape. Now, how does your earth shape? How does it change? Scripture says the earth was without form and void, and it was dark, chaotic, all these different things. It says, but the Spirit of God moved, hovered, brooded like a hen with chickens over the face of the waters, the deep. And then it says, and God said, let there be light. Now watch this. And God said, let there be light. I think that's verse 3. Now, John chapter 1 in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John chapter 1 says, in the beginning was the Word. Word. What is a word? Word is something we can say it's spoken, but it is a container of what? Thought, plan, intent. A word contains a thought. Thought is in the word. You speak the word and you speak a thought. Now, it says, and God said, let there be light. If God said, God uttered, God made a sound, whatever the sound was. It doesn't mean that the word light, God said it light, like in English. No, whatever was uttered, whatever came out was an expression of the thought. So when you think, you begin to expand yourself to prepare to speak. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, read it. It says, be not conformed to this world, conform to another form or another shape or the shape of something that wants to shape you. But be ye transformed, go beyond the form by the renewing of your mind. I was listening to somebody that was talking, I believe it was about Jackie Robinson, and it was about the first black baseball player that entered the leagues. And so they were talking about the first people who ever did this, or the first people who ever did that, or the first person who was the first black to become the president of Harvard, or the first black to break the color line of the baseball leagues, or the first person to break the color line in aerospace technology, or the first person to break the color line, or the first black doing this, or the first black doing that. And I began to ask myself the question with a lot of other people. And this question was this: why do we celebrate the first black person who played baseball? See, this is what hisses people off about religion and politics. Because what's the importance of the first black to play baseball? Look, don't get mad at me. But what does that mean? Does that mean that the first one to play, who is black to play baseball, is the best? Back during those times, Satchel Paige, there was a lot of black baseball players that were not only as good as Jackie Robinson, but even better. Or does the first person, this is the first black to play baseball, or does that mean this is the first black that was allowed by white people to play baseball? And when I say white, I'm not talking about the color of one's skin. I'm talking about a principle. I'm talking about a concept here. So why do we celebrate it? Well, if I can break the color line, so can you. Is that the goal of life? To break the color line? Is that what religion is about? To come up to just be someone that one day, if we be good people and nice people, we will go to heaven? Is that what we are to be? Well, if somebody gives us one vote, and that's all we are, don't rock the boat, don't talk too much about anything, and just become nice people of color. Is that what it's about? See, that's what hisses people off, because people are sitting around. That's where a lot of hypocrisy is. And it holds people back. Look, I'm about more than religion. I'm going to tell you about what it is, because look, take a moment right there before I forget to do this. Take a moment, and people have asked me, what do you do when people give? It doesn't go to me, doesn't go into my pocket. It goes into our ministry, and you can 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. 2035. All you got to do is text it to that number and put the amount in the text message. It might be $9. We're using nines, $9 or $9.99 or $90 or whatever it is, wherever your level is, wherever you are right now. Just put a 9 in that number and then text it. It'll, in the beginning, if you've never done it before, it'll ask you some questions, very quick. It won't take you no more than about less than 60 seconds. Me a little bit longer because I'm vintage, but you, it don't take seconds. And if you've done it before, text it again. Today's the day. This whole month of January, this is what we're doing. We're doing nines. We're giving nines because it's doing two things. It's helping us to keep getting things out to you. It does cost us to do it. But secondly, I believe it's getting us ready in 2024. That's 224. That's 8 to get us ready for 2025. That's our goal. We're not waiting no longer. We're getting ready for 2025. So make sure you do that text to give. And I really appreciate it. And it will make a big difference to a lot of people and put a little warm something inside of you too. That's where your sanctuary is, right there in your heart. And so what I'm saying more than anything is if we can finally let go of that hypocrisy in how we're dealing with concerning race and religion and politics, what are you trying to keep people back from? From becoming all that they could possibly be? From becoming a country that is multicultural, where other people have something to say other than just you? Other people who may not look like you, act like you, think like you? Is our religion limited only to people who think in little cubby holes, but not who people who want to expand their thinking like the expansive thought of Christ? Wow. Inside of each of us are those sanctuaries. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I want to be able to be myself, with who I'm going to love, who I'm going to hang with, who I'm going to be with. I want to be able to be myself with those people that I'm working with. If I'm teaching you or you're teaching me and we're teaching each other to be open. So that if something happens, you say, well, is that who you are? You're able to say, well, I knew that all along. You told me that. I believe that's where we're not afraid of God, we're not afraid of people, and we're not afraid of people leaving us because they find out about us. Look, there's going to be some mess up stuff in religion this year. And there's going to be some messy politics and some messy religion. But I think it's important now to begin to ask yourself, where is your faith? What do you believe? Who are the people around you that are in your ear teaching you some wonderful, fantastic things? Hang with those people. When you have these good thoughts about yourself, wonderful thoughts about yourself, when you realize who you are, then you'll begin to speak and be proud even of yourself. And when you're proud even of yourself, then you'll draw people to you that are the best and will bring out the best in you, and you will bring out the best in them. Don't worry about these messy people. You may have to walk away from them now. God's word, God's best, God's thought is coming out of you, and I can't wait to see it. Hit that like button. Let me know you're there. Those algorithms. Share, subscribe, all those things. And the reason I'm saying it is because I got to go. Love you. Bye-bye. Let me break in here for a second. I want to tell you a little secret. There is something I used to do. It was commodity trading. And they used to have something on the list called winter wheat. I never knew what it was, never paid any attention to it, because in my northern background, all I saw in the winter was hard ground, snow. How could anything grow? Well, I learned different. I learned that winter wheat was something that was planted around the fall, around September, October. And when it was planted, they didn't just throw the seed out there on the ground. Of course, it would be too hard. But they drilled down into the earth and almost like planted them one by one. Now, when the snow came and the winter came, it would go dormant. But when the spring came, it would come up again. And they would harvest it around that time. Winter wheat. In other words, there are things in our lives that we plant in times when people think they won't grow. There's a number 9 that I believe symbolizes finality. It symbolizes harvest. It symbolizes the end of something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, you start all over again. This is 2024. 2, 2, 4 equals 8, new beginnings. But watch this. You can plant during the new beginnings, but you can't eat the harvest until later. When you plant something, it takes time. Sometimes it's dormant. Sometimes there's a winter. Sometimes you feel like everything is shut down, just like the earth is shut down in the winter. But you know what? Spring is coming. A different kind of growth is about to take place. So what you thought was not going to happen is going to happen. It's a seed that you plant in the earth. The seed and the need. The need is in the seed, and the seed is in the need. So whatever it is that you need, and whatever needs you see around you, plant it. It might be $9.90. It might be, for those of you who have it, and people have it, it might be $90.90, or it might be $99.90, whatever. Put a 9 in that offering. It might just be $9. Whatever it is, take the time. Plant it now. You can call the number, you can text to give. People love it. 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Or you can go to myalc.org. I love myalc.org. It's safe, it's secure. And you can hit that donate button, smash it, crash it, hit it. Let it be known that you're there. And you will see how to do it. Look, there are a lot of needs around in this world. There's going to be a lot of issues coming up. It's going to look like everything is lying dormant. But remember, if you put your seed in the ground, it's already coming up while you're not thinking about it. In the wintertime, it's not the heat from the sun outside that will grow this seed. Guess what? It's going to be the warmth of the sun inside that will make this seed come to life. It's going to be a warmth, like warm oil inside of you. Give, you'll feel it, and it will make a difference not only in the lives of others, but also in your life. All right? We love you. Stay blessed. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.